We're going to get started in just a minute here. We're going to get Welcome to the Pipeline Podcast. Today is November 25th, and we got a great live stream for you tonight. We're going to be covering a Piers Morgan Uncensored episode where they talk about Nick Fuentes. He's not actually on the show, but the title, Definition of a White Supremacist, Nick Fuentes Divides MAGA, with Jake Shields and Rabbi Shmuley. So it's going to get hot, and we're definitely going to watch it and give you our hot takes. So let's check out the video. And, before we start, this Jake Shields guy, I've seen it on Twitter or X a lot. He was, allegedly denying the Holocaust in this episode, and there's some rabbi on the panel, so it should get pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited to get to that.
What is your view of Fuentes?
I think, number one, he's a white supremacist, and I think he's an opportunist that has figured out how to make money being a white supremacist.
Your negligence to acknowledge the fact that his fans, his constituents, have been following him for 10 years. You know, this
What's that got to do with his anti-Semitism?
Hitler had followers.
Nick Fuentes is not MAGA. He's MAG-git.
This is going to get
good. He trades in being a subhuman, mentally and conspiracy-minded, Neanderthal knuckle-dragger.
He's speaking Generation Z because they feel left out. Housing costs are going up. Trump has betrayed us.
You can't expect me to be
do a different
silent
show for
when
Holocaust
someone
debate.
denies the Holocaust in front of the entire world. And let me just be clear.
I didn't deny the Holocaust. I think the number was exaggerated.
You don't give
Yeah, there it is. I can't wait to get to that.
SHIT about 6 million
I
Jews
don't
being
fucking
killed. We
know
know
how many people are
that's the
killed.
point.
Oh, yeah.
This weekend, the Jerusalem Post published an editorial calling for the Pope to condemn Nick Fuentes. It's latest evidence that a man and a movement which many would rather pretend was a purely online phenomenon has become a very mainstream matter. As we've talked about on this show, Conservatives are openly split between those who believe the likes of Fuentes should be silenced and ignored and those who believe the right is now dabbling in its own form of cancel culture, especially when it comes to the other major dividing line.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I feel like it's cancel culture, but on the right.
Of Israel. More to the point, many of the people clutching their pearls on both sides of the argument are failing to ask why he got so popular in the first place and whether MAGA needed and still needs the movement many would now like to disavow. Well, joining me to debate all this is Jake Shields from Fight Back Podcast.
So this guy is like an ex-MMA fighter, and yeah, he has a podcast.
Ben Ferguson, co-host of The Verdict with Ted Cruz.
So yeah, this guy is the co-host to a podcast for Ted Cruz, which I didn't even know Ted Cruz had a podcast, but you just know all his takes are going to be bad.
Rabbi Shmuley, author, often known as America's Rabbi, and Richard Black.
And then that rabbi, people have been saying, like, he is a real rabbi, but he's a little crazy. I've never heard of him.
The founder of the Safari Journal Company and a right-wing commentator. Okay, welcome to all of
And then this guy, I think they describe him as a far right-wing person.
you. Rabbi Shmuley, welcome back to Uncensored. Nick Fuentes has a growing number of followers, a growing amount of influence. The more people have tried to cancel him, the more his views have become
Jake Shields has a Remember the
disseminated and
Liberty
the more popular
shirt
he
on.
seems to have got. What do you feel about this? And what do you think should be done about it?
Nick Fuentes is not MAGA. He's MAGIT. He trades in being a subhuman, mentally and conspiracy-minded Neanderthal.
So the rabbi doesn't like Nick Fuentes. Who would have thought?
Knuckle dragger. He is utterly ignorant. He knows no history. And his MAGA is Make America German. Amen. He is just using a Hitlerian playbook. He says that Hitler is his hero. There's a lot of similarities, of course. You become famous by targeting Jews. He's not anti-Israel. He's an anti-Semite. He's a Holocaust denier. Hitler traded an anti-Semitism beginning in 1921-22 because it was the way to become the most famous. History has shown if you hate the Jews, Jews are news. So when you ask how did he become so famous, it is specifically his anti-Semitism. The question is he transactionally anti-Semitic or is he ideologically anti-Semitic? I think it's both. But the way he speaks about blacks, that blacks should all be returned to slavery, and that if you go to a black neighborhood, you're going to be stabbed in the neck, that they're all murderers. We've seen this, of course, with Hitler, who wouldn't even shake Jesse Owens' hands when Jesse Owens dominated the 1936 Olympics, winning 4 gold medals. And you know, but Fuentes is playing with fire because in the same way the Nazi movement cultivated hatred they could no longer contain, you have Tucker Carlson saying openly that Nick Fuentes is gay, which I couldn't care less. I have a gay brother. But Ernst Röhm, who was the head of the SA, was killed by Hitler in large part because he was gay. And at some point, Fuentes' followers are going to turn on him because just like Hitler didn't look Aryan in the slightest, neither does Fuentes. He's not this white Norwegian Aryan Ubermensch Superman. He's actually a short, weird guy, kind of like the way Hitler was. He has all these weird tics. He's famous because hatred sells, and hatred towards the Jews sells. And when you come along and you stoke those fires of such incendiary...
Personally, I would like to see someone make an anti-Nick Fuentes argument without comparing him to Hitler. And I just want to see what that argument would look like.
Racism against blacks, against Jews, it's going to turn on you, and I think Fuentes is really at risk from his own people. I'm never going to touch him. I wish him a long life and increasing marginalization and invisibility. But I think that his own MAGIT movement is going to turn on him.
All right, Richard Black, I can see you pulling some faces there, so you can respond.
Yeah, well, I lost count, honestly. I mean, I lost count of how many lies that was just admitted.
Well, yeah, he's not. Nick Fuentes isn't Hitler.
Rabbi Shmuley is part of. Obviously, Rabbi Shmuley is part of the tone-deaf majority who are more than likely the cause of the rise of Nick Fuentes. When you start off the conversation with lobbying insults, first and foremost, and mentioning something about his height and his looks, you're completely neglecting the fact that at this point, and in my generation in particular, we see this as an emergency. We don't care about what he looks like. Mentioning that Hitler killed Strom because he was homosexual, which is not true. That's obviously a very complicated thing. Or the Jesse Owens statement, which, again, I believe Jesse Owens made a statement that Hitler actually called him to congratulate him, and the president of the U.S. at the time did not. So food for thought there. But this is a cheap tactic, and it's one that's been used, overly used, over and over. And I really want to warn people like Rabbi Shmuley and anybody who uses this tactic, because ultimately what you're doing, what you're forcing people to do, is to de-radicalize this movement, de-radicalize these words. When you lobby these words, anti-Semitism, and you say, well, you're not allowed at the table unless you're if you're an anti-Semite. Well, you're putting it on us to first de-radicalize what it means to be an anti-Semite so we get a spot at the table. Nick Fuentes is correcting an imbalance in the conservative movement that's been going on for 20 years, 20 plus years. He's pointing out the obvious flaws that we need to pay attention, to pull away from foreign influence and control to become a sovereign nation once again. He's never said anything about putting blacks back in chains. And, if you're going to go off of clip editing and then sensationalism, obviously he's very sensational right now, you're being intellectually dishonest. You're being...
Well, let's play a clip. Let me play a clip of Fuentes, and we can discuss this after we've watched it.
What are all of these groups? Who are these people? What are they actually? The World Jewish Congress, the Jewish Leadership Conference, the Jewish Federations of North America. What are we to make of this? This is totally unique. There is no other group of people that does this. I'm Italian, Mexican, and Irish. Is there anything comparable for any of these groups? Is there a World Irish Congress chaired by billionaires and bankers?
No, I mean, that strikes me as...
They could have found a much worse clip of Nick Fuentes if they wanted to. He said worse stuff than that.
Pretty openly anti-Semitic, because of course there are plenty of groups around the world for all sorts of nationalities and religious and ethnic groups. Of course there are. We all know that.
Half the panel's just shaking their head. Nope, you're wrong.
Jewish people is preposterous. The guy is clearly
we can
anti-Semitic.
give Piers the first loss.
There's no even pretends to not.
The other two guys that went, neither of them really made any points, so I didn't give him a score yet.
Please.
No, he's not. He's not. I'm gonna jump in again. I'm sorry, he's not. You're taking a clip out of context. I
don't really think so. I think you can watch that clip and understand what Nick Fuentes is talking about.
Here's the thing.
What was the out of context?
Well, first and foremost, I'm saying you have to really listen.
Hang on, don't, Rabbi Shmuley, let me just handle this.
Rabbi Shmuley,
hang on, Richie Black, I'm very curious.
They did a real disservice.
Hang on. When you say, Richie Black, when you say we took it out of context, explain how that was taken. It seemed pretty straightforward context to me.
I'll tell you why. Because first of all, you're taking it out of context because you have to take in the full scope of everything Nick says, not only in one of his shows, but over the course of time. His fans, the people that are loyal to him, the people that are pushing for America first, these aren't people that just showed up yesterday, and this is where you really lose out. Your negligence to acknowledge the fact that his fans, his constituents, have been following him for 10 years. This
What's that got to do with his anti-Semitism?
Hitler had followers. Mussolini had followers. I'm
curious. Jake, I will bring you in, and Ben, I will bring you in. But just, Richie, just to be clear, you said that clip was taken out of context. I can't understand how it was taken out of context. It was very straightforward. What was the out of context?
Well, first and foremost, what I'm suggesting is what you're lobbying as anti.
Pierce cracks me up. He is having the hottest debate on the right now on his show, and all he cares about is that someone said, "Oh, you took my clip out of context. Let's talk about that." It's like, Piers, you only do your show for an hour. Can we just talk about the things that actually matter? It's so funny.
You're suggesting that Nick hates all Jews? Is that what you're suggesting? What does it mean anymore to be anti-Semitic? Because
if you say you openly love Adolf Hitler, you probably don't care that he murdered millions.
Why didn't you play that clip?
No, I would definitely argue if if your assumption is that somebody who has any adoration for Adolf Hitler is obviously anti-Semitic, then you yourself have not dived into history and or looked at the subjugation or the
God
persecution
almighty,
of
I can't believe we're hearing this. If I
Of
love
course
the
you can't
Klan,
believe it, because this is a new age. America must rise to the occasion to address the issue of people like you. This is the new age, and it's coming full speed ahead.
Wait. You have told so many lies. Number one, Adolf Hitler never called Jesse Owens. That is a total fabrication. That is a total.
All right, it looks like these two people, I don't think they're able to get along, so we're probably not going to get much debate content out of them. So hopefully Piers lets the other half of the panel talk soon.
That is a total fabrication. Number two, when Nick Fuentes. No. Let me speak, please. Number two, when Nick Fuentes says that there is no other similar group like the Jewish Federation, you don't know how many Irish Americans supported the IRA. You know how many Mexican organizations have Latino congresses.
Listen,
Nick Fuentes is as ignorant as you.
And I am defending America first.
And I am allowed to bring up. Excuse me.
We are not
I am allowed to bring up his appearance when he wants white Americans to rule America.
You're talking over each other. Don't talk over each other.
Shit, Piers.
He won't let anyone speak.
Okay.
If you love Hitler,
if you
hate
both
Jews,
talk at
period.
once, we
Thank
can't
you.
hear either of you. We can't hear either if you talk at once. December is Heart Awareness Month. It's a and to protect % off your Blood Flow 7 order today. Ben, look, there's a real battle raging within the conservative right in America, and to pretend that Fuentes is not gathering fame, infamy, whatever you want to call it, support, following, notoriety, attention, probably the thing he craves most, and making tons of money out of it, is to put your head in the sand. So he is a phenomenon that is getting bigger, not smaller. What is your view of Fuentes? Obviously, Tucker Carlson sat with him and got criticised for not going hard at him enough and so on. What is your view of Fuentes?
And also, Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz have beef with each other. And this guy works with Ted Cruz. He's the co-host of Ted Cruz's podcast, Ben Ferguson. So he's not going to like Nick Fuentes because of that.
I think, number one, he's a white supremacist, and I think he's an opportunist that has figured out how to make money being a white supremacist. Forget the Jewish issue for just...
So the first guy that was anti-Nick Fuentes said that he was Hitler, and then this guy is calling him like a KKK member, a white supremacist. So it's like, why don't you just use like real arguments and try to tell us why people shouldn't like Nick Fuentes? Because when you just pull up the like most extreme, and you just go straight for, oh, he's a racist Nazi, it's like, no, and people aren't that stupid.
Just a second. This is a guy a year and a half ago that talked about somebody littering in a neighborhood, saying it's a black guy, and it's always black people that do this, and he would kill him with Adolf Hitler. That's his exact words on his show. Quote, "This is my neighborhood. I'm supposed to be mad at Hitler. I'm supposed to be crossed with Hitler. I want this guy dead, and I wish Hitler would kill him. I wish Hitler would have killed him, you know. The guy should be killed. The guy should be killed for what that guy should be dragged from his car and beaten to death by the public. If I was in a room with Hitler and that guy, me and Hitler would team up and blank that guy up. We would kill that guy, and we'd high five at the end." So this is an individual who hates anyone that
It's
it's
funny,
not
it's
funny
a
when you
joke.
talk about
It's
black. When you
hilarious.
talk about
It's hilarious.
Don't talk at once. Let Ben finish his point,
Let me
please.
finish.
Yeah, we're gonna give Richie Black an L just because he doesn't let anyone talk.
The difference between, and I'm glad that you guys are on the show because I actually think it does a great service to show the excommunication in the real conservative movement of white supremacists like you guys that laugh about killing black people or laugh about...
See, there you go. He's saying Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist, and therefore everyone who is a fan of Nick Fuentes is also a white supremacist. So you want to talk about cancel culture? I mean, this guy works with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is a powerful politician. This is what they want. They want to just anyone who even likes Nick Fuentes to just say you're a racist. That's scary.
About the Holocaust or deny. Let me finish. Let me just finish.
Oh, we'll give him a loss for that.
You can. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. I go back to the core here with Nick. Nick is an individual that has figured out how to basically use stooges like you guys to make money off of being a white supremacist. He has been excommunicated from anybody that's saying the Republican Party. He is not a part of the Republican Party or movement. There are very few people, and the proof of that is the fact that you can name them. It's Candace Owens, it's Tucker Carlson, it's Nick.
See, he's going down the list. Everyone who's not pro-Israel. This is the list right here.
Fuentes. It's an extremely
What do all three of those people have in common?
small group, all of them making money off of, I think, real racists and gathering them together and then acting as if they have this power. They're just making money and
He just called Candace Owens a racist.
controlling you guys with their white supremacy. So I'm glad that they're being called out. I'm glad that they're being exposed. I think the scary part is they do gather people, just like the KKK did back in the day, just like Adolf Hitler did. Just
If
like
you have a YouTube channel, you're basically the KKK because you're gathering people.
Mussolini and Stalin and many others.
He just needs to stop talking.
But the difference here is, at least the conservative movement, many of my good friends in the movement are calling them out on a daily basis because they understand the threat it is to conservatism, and we police our own. So I'm sorry you guys want to be associated with them. I'm sorry that you think the Holocaust didn't happen, or gas chambers didn't happen, or black people should be killed or dragged, or
Jake Shields, get in there.
appropriate to refer to African Americans. But this is white supremacy.
Okay.
I'm going to give.
All right,
I'm gonna
hang
give
on.
Jake-
No, hang on. I will control the panel. Right, the Jerusalem Post editorial, which teed up this debate, said that Fuentes and Candace Owens represent a direct and dangerous challenge. They undermine decades of attempts at reconciliation between Catholics and Jews, and they prey on young Catholics, offering them a vision that fuses religious identity with outright bigotry. And the longer the Vatican remains silent, the more their poison spreads. Just before I move on to the other panelists, Ben, do you think the Pope
He hasn't said
should speak
anything to
out?
Jake Shields.
Of course. And look, real leaders lead on issues like this, and they don't see how many followers they may gain or lose. I think that's the saddest part about what you're witnessing with not only the Pope and the lack of leadership there, but with people like Tucker Carlson. I think he's been isolated since he lost his TV show. I think he's found a new audience in white supremacists. I think he gives an
To understand why he's saying that, you need to watch the Tucker Carlson Ted Cruz interview that Tucker Carlson did on his show, where he just like lays into Ted Cruz. And this guy works for Ted Cruz that's talking now. So he's just shitting on Tucker Carlson. And also Tucker Carlson kind of likes Nick Fuentes. So that's what's going on.
audience to these supremacists to come on, and he does make a hell of a lot of money. I mean, if your goal is to be a multimillionaire and to stack cash, it works. Candace and Tucker are part of that. Nick is part of that, but there's others that have to call them out and be loud about it. I don't do this because I'm trying to make money. I do this because I love this country. There is right and wrong. There's a line in the sand, and I say to every conservative I know out there, you're either on the side of Tucker and Candace and Nick, and you're a white supremacist that hates Jews and denies the Holocaust, or you're on the side of right and wrong. That's where we are.
He's like,
All right,
his argument is so extreme that I almost think he's joking. I can barely take him seriously.
Okay.
Pierce,
Hang on, Rabbi Shmuel.
Hang on.
Jake Shields
hang
hasn't
on.
spoken yet.
Can I
All I would
Let
say-
Jake Shields
I would
speak.
say that- I would
I
say,
haven't had a chance to speak
look,
yet.
I would say that I don't. Look, I think you said a lot of things there about Tucker in particular. I've just spent some time with Tucker today in London, actually, for his show, and I don't recognise some of the things you said about him. Just to be clear,
Well,
but
what though? I mean, he's given an audience. The
I don't think
difference
he
here,
hates
Piers, is
Jews,
this.
for example.
I've known him.
I don't think Tucker
I don't think
hates
he likes
Jews.
them. I think he gives a,
Jews.
this is what I would say to
You're allowed to critique people. You're like, people complain about like black people all the time. They were doing that earlier, or like what is it? The Chinese students that Trump approved. Like, you're allowed to critique people, which means you are allowed to critique Jewish people, but there is a difference.
Tucker, and I saw Tucker recently. I've known Tucker for a really long time, Piers. The problem I have with Tucker is you're dabbling in anti-Semitism by saying, well, I'm not the guy saying it, but let me give a seat at the table to a very large audience of people that are saying it. You're using stooges to say it and giving them a platform. That is no different than giving a safe haven to a terrorist if you're in the Middle East, or to somebody that's
so
killing the
crazy.
Jews when Adolf Hitler was around. You must call
is
it
a
out. You
representative of
cannot
the
sit there and
party
say,
for
I am
speech,
not
by the way.
an anti-Semite, but please, anti-Semites, come on my show and let's fester this evil in the world. I will.
But I have a lot of
Tucker
people.
out for that.
I've had it, but Ben, I've had a lot of people on this show since the start of the war between Israel and Hamas, for example, who many on the Jewish side would say are anti-Semites, right? Simultaneously, those on the pro-Palestinian... Wait a minute, Rabbi Shmuley. Those on the Palestinian side make the same charge against what they say are the Zionist terrorists on the other side. So it depends who you talk to, how these things get categorized.
And here's what I would say. If you have a massive
Wait a
audience...
minute, Rabbi Shmuley.
At some point,
I will come back. I want to bring Jake. Look, Jake hasn't spoken yet. Jake, you interviewed... All right, Jake Shields, you interviewed Nick Fuentes a year ago. I want to show a little intro to that interview where you gave your reasons for mainstreaming him, because it's relevant to this debate.
Yes. Guys, I'm here with the notorious Nick Fuentes. It's a very interesting guest because you were so vilified. I kind of believed it and fully believe it. I remember hearing like you're Nazi, white supremacist. The only thing I saw was negativity about you. It was this negativity, and you had no voice. You were banned from literally everything. So then I think I started texting you. We had a couple phone calls, and you were so not the guy that I thought you were. And then I don't know, maybe a year ago or something, we met up, had dinner in Chicago, and it was just, you seemed like such a genuine, normal guy. And that's when I'm like, all right, I was completely lied to. I was wrong about this guy. I want to do something, try to help you get mainstream again a little bit, which you are starting to slowly move that direction. I just think it's just crazy how bad they're able to vilify you.
I mean, all what I would say, Jake Shields, is it's not that crazy when you judge him by what he's actually said on the record. I'll give you some examples. A lot of women want to be raped, but they have to pretend that they don't. Jim Crow was better for black people, but who cares? White people are every bit justified in being racist. Hitler was really fucking cool. He compared the Holocaust to baking 6 million cookies. Now, none of those things strike me as being anything but utterly repellent, and yet you decided he was mischaracterized.
Yes, because will you let me talk? First off, I met him through a black friend. You're saying he wants to kill black people. If you watch his show, he jokes a lot, humorous, Generation Z. You guys don't understand that. And when he was talking about girls getting raped...
Yeah, it's like an R-rated political commentary show, basically. But it doesn't mean he actually is Hitler.
He's talking about rape fantasies. 56% of girls, or maybe it was like 70% of girls, have rape fantasies. This is the reality. He's not saying he wants to rape girls. The cooking thing, look up the numbers. They say it was they claim they were burning bodies in 10 minutes. It takes 90 minutes to burn a body now, so there's a little bit of validity to that argument. Nick was nice.
But you're denying that 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust.
See, that's not what he said, Piers. So he's trying to make it like a hot topic so he can get clicks, but he was just talking about how they burned the bodies and the timing that they said they did it in. He didn't say anything that he wasn't denying the amount of people that died in the Holocaust.
Denying that.
So we got to give Piers an L.
I'm saying it doesn't match up with the furnaces. I don't know. I'm not making a comment on that. I'm saying there's some holes.
Well, you are. You're questioning the number of people who.
Do you want to do the math? He's ready.
Today's show is sponsored by Oxford Natural.
You want to do the math?
Their full get 7 years. Yeah.
Do you think that they were burning bodies in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I think they were burning bodies in gas chambers and then mass graves.
So you think it was the fastest? You think it? Oh, do I need to go look at? So you think it was 10 times faster than today's furnaces? Okay.
How fast would have been acceptable to you?
But it's ridiculous.
How fast would be acceptable to you?
Piers.
God, I mean, it's scary.
I don't even care about the gas chamber thing.
You don't even care about the gas chamber thing. I think you just expressed a desire you did.
If you were Jewish, you would.
I will let Rabbi Shmuley respond to that point.
Bodies that fast. I don't think they burned. But can I finish my point? I didn't even get to the point I was trying to make. I don't give a shit about the. Yes.
How many people do you think
you don't give an shit about 6 million Jews being killed? We know
how many people were killed.
We know you don't care. Hold on.
That's amazing. I don't know how many was killed, and I don't believe it was 6 million, but I'm not trying to have a Holocaust debate.
That's crazy. You literally are trying to have a Holocaust debate.
Let's do a different.
You can't expect me to be
silent
when someone denies the Holocaust in front of the entire world.
He wasn't denying the Holocaust. He was just saying the official narrative on those incinerators, the math doesn't add up. But he's an MMA fighter. So he's not, going to be able to express that in a debate very well.
And let me just be clear.
I didn't deny
Number
the
one,
Holocaust. I think
Right.
the number was exaggerated.
Excuse me, Jake, give me a moment,
Can we
please,
get
okay?
back to our subject?
Jake, this is not an
We
MMA fight.
should.
This is a debate. Number one, Pius XII
Okay, I didn't get to finish my point,
remains
though.
in ignominy and Pope Pius will not even be beatified or made into a saint by the church because he was silent about Hitler. And now, if Pope Leo, who is Pope for 6 months,
how many
does
Christians
not
died in
speak out
World War II? How many
against
Christians died?
Against Candace Owens, who's a Catholic,
How many
or
Christians
against
died in World
Fuentes,
War II?
he will immeasurably undermine his moral stance. That's number one. Number two, the utter
Why don't we have
lies
another
and
show
the
for the
ignorance of
Holocaust?
people like Jake Shields. Jake Shields doesn't know anything. If I ask him
What,
the
they're
names
magic-
of
they're
Treblinka,
magic
Majdanek,
furnaces?
Gross Rosen, Rosenfeld,
Furnaces. Yeah, I know all those.
Stop
On
with the
every
furnaces.
single one, they
By the
keep
way,
jumping numbers down.
Jake. Forget how long it takes to burn a body. Let me ask you one question. Since you're a great Nazi lover like Nick Fuentes,
Sure.
why is it the Third
Sure.
Reich? What's the Third Reich? Just tell me, what is the Third Reich? Where's the first two Reichs? What are they?
I'm not a Nazi. I don't
even
know.
know.
I
You
have no idea.
No.
I'm
You
not a
have
Nazi.
no
I'm not a-
clue
I'm not
about
a
what even the
Nazi,
Third
nor have
Reich
I
is.
claimed to
There
be.
was the Holy Roman Empire, then there was Wilhelm II, then there was. You don't know anything. You're just using something
But
about
I
crematorium.
do
You don't
know
even know how many
furnaces
evidence
can't
there were in
burn
Auschwitz.
bodies in 10
What I
minutes.
do know, what I
I know
do
they
know
can't
is
burn
the
bodies in
reason
10
why
minutes.
you
I
want
do know that.
the reason why you.
I gotta say, props to Jake Shields because that's all he's been saying, and they're trying to say he's denying the Holocaust. He's just saying there's a discrepancy with the official narrative, but he's not denying that there was a Holocaust.
Want to minimize the
This
Holocaust.
isn't what I was
You're
trying
on
to talk
record as
about.
saying
I
that
had
not
a
one
point that I was
Jewish
trying
So
to
props
make.
to him.
Because
And you're
Jewish life to you is like
We might give
cattle
him the
being
first
slaughtered.
win.
In the same
A
way,
Jew-
in the same
No, that's how
way
you think
don't
of a
know.
Palestinian
In the
child.
same
All
way
right,
you
all right,
don't
let me
know
jump
how
in.
many-
Let me jump in.
Palestinian child.
Let me jump in.
Piers,
Look,
I can't speak.
I'm jumping in.
Holocaust
All right,
denial
Rabbi
is
Shmuley.
mainstream,
I am
then I can't
jumping in.
speak.
Rabbi Shmuley, let me speak. I would say
Let him
this, Jake
speak.
Shields.
I
You say
care about all lives
hang
equally.
on. You say you don't want to talk about the Holocaust, and yet you're the one that brought it up. You're the one questioning the number of people who were killed. That is deeply offensive.
He did do that.
That is deeply offensive to Jewish people. Well, no, I read you some quotes by Fuentes. Right, but
He's
you're
right with
but
the
you
math.
say
It
you don't want to talk
doesn't
about it, and then
match.
you
I'm
say
just saying the
something
math doesn't match.
you have no basis for
You
your
brought it
argument.
up.
You have no basis to
I have a lot
justify
of
your argument.
I have a
Piers.
lot of basis.
Well, you don't
They
actually.
couldn't have cooked that many cookies.
You don't. And actually, what you're saying.
How many crematoria? He doesn't even know how many ovens
Please
there
don't
were
all
in
talk
Auschwitz.
at
What
once.
year was he
Rabbi,
built? He doesn't even know. He doesn't know
Rabbi,
Please
anything.
don't all talk at once, or nobody can hear a word. Nobody.
There are also discrepancies with the amount of ovens there was at Auschwitz. Just saying.
Can hear any of
You have
you.
no clue,
No
do you?
one can
You
hear
don't know what
any of you
Zyklon B is.
if you all talk at once. Now,
Let
here's
me
my
say this.
point.
I haven't had a
My
time-
point
I
to
haven't
you,
had a chance to
Jay Shields, is
respond to any of
you
this.
said something deliberately inflammatory, which you knew would be deeply
You brought
offensive.
the Holocaust.
Huh?
Well, the math doesn't add up.
The
Let's
math
do the
doesn't add up.
I'm going to take a shoot somebody in the back
Can
of
I
the head.
finish my point that I was trying to make?
Die.
Finish the point you were trying to make.
Anybody who's listening,
You know what? There's a Holocaust going on
today.
today in Gaza.
What's the point you were going to make?
Really? Really? There's a Holocaust
Oh,
going on today in Gaza?
There's a yes.
Which
yes,
Holocaust?
so we can see.
Please stop
Piers,
talking
Piers, Piers.
all at once.
See, this is.
I'll let you respond, Rabbi
Piers, why don't
Shmuley.
you- why
But
don't
unless
you say
people
who
make
should-
their
okay,
points,
can I
there's no
respond?
point having a debate. So let him finish his point.
Rabbi, I'll
I
debate.
agree.
Right.
How about we? How about me? and you
Please
debate
shut up,
about
all
the
of you.
Holocaust?
Jake Shields, make your point
May
now.
I respond?
I just try to say he's speaking Generation Z because they feel left out. Housing costs are going up. Trump has betrayed us. He said no more foreign wars. What does he do? Bombs Iran. He didn't stop the war in Russia and Ukraine. He allowed Israel to slaughter the most brutal thing we've ever seen in Gaza. He's talking about going to the war with Venezuela. Inflation's up. He's betrayed Thomas Massey and Green. What's he do? He's bringing over tons of visas for Chinese and Indian workers to give away to the high-paying jobs. Regular Americans suffering. The young
Talk about the Epstein files too. We forgot about that.
people, a lot of boomers don't understand. It's tough out there, and he speaks directly to them. And he jokes a lot. He's not a racist. He has his humor. You guys don't get like the Generation Z humor. It's
I don't get
edgier.
racist
They
humor
don't
and
care about
Holocaust
World
denier
War
humor.
II.
I don't.
I don't think
don't.
saying
Okay,
Hitler was
but they
really
do.
fucking
You
cool.
don't,
Is
but they do.
Here's
Black
here's
people,
the
black
problem.
people love Nick.
Here's the problem.
I'd love to jump in. I haven't had an
Right,
opportunity.
I will
to jump
come
in.
to
I
each
haven't
of
had an
you,
opportunity.
but please let each
Let
other
me
speak.
respond.
Otherwise, nobody
Let me
can hear you.
respond.
I can promise you, the viewers at home, if you all start talking, no one can hear any of you. Ben.
Yeah, there's three things here. One, I'm glad that what you just witnessed was said, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier. You have a group of individuals that's very small that is out there saying absurd things like the Holocaust didn't happen, they didn't cook
If you look at Nick Fuentes' numbers, I bet he's bigger than this guy.
that many cookies, referring to Jewish lives. How long does it take to shoot somebody in the back of the head? You can figure that out. It doesn't take very long. How long does it take to dig a mass grave? How long does it take to do it?
So is he also saying there's a discrepancy with the official narrative? Is he admitting to that?
A gas chamber. The idea that you are dehumanizing
Take 90
people that are
minutes to burn a
Jewish.
body, though.
Let him finish, please.
They didn't burn 6 million, my friend. And if you actually studied the Holocaust and you understood what happened,
He didn't say they did.
To where this happened, you haven't, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. If you did, you would not say something that's incompetent based on facts. You're saying it based on regurgitating something you heard from Nick or somebody else. Have you ever been to
the
Israel?
official narrative
Have you
they
ever
burnt
been
the
to the
bodies in 10
kibbutz?
minutes.
Have you ever been to Germany?
I've been to Israel.
You've been to
Yes, I've
Germany.
been to Israel.
And you've been to the kibbutzes.
Yes.
And you've been to Gaza, where I've been, and you've seen what happened after, and you've been to where the side
I
of...
wasn't allowed
You
in
can't go into Gaza.
Gaza, but I've been to Israel.
Okay, so you've been to where people were murdered. Jews were killed in Germany. Have you done that as well?
No.
No. Okay, so you read it.
How could you have an opinion on something if you haven't been there? That's what this guy sounds like.
Rebuilt in 1947 after the war.
And you believe that you're changing people's minds by implying that one of the worst moments in the world's history, the extermination of Jews, is something that we should downplay and then say, well, maybe they didn't burn as many bodies, maybe because they shot them in the back of the head or they put them in gas.
Right. They're kind of saying the same thing. They're actually agreeing with each other, but this guy's still trying to fight about it.
Were killed, but no, I think Jews.
But it's clear you think that it's not a big deal.
Why can't we? Why can't? Of course, I think it was a big deal. I'm just saying we should be able to discuss the number.
No,
we
I don't. I don't. Because anyone watching right now, anyone that's watching right now sees you acting as if this is something that didn't actually take place. That is anti-Semitism.
No,
and I would say to you
no.
respectfully.
How is it anti-Semitism to question the numbers?
Jake, can I ask a question?
Because you're downplaying the Holocaust and the extermination of Jews. You're literally downplaying it and implying
I thought this conversation was about affordability and America First. Why is Nick Fuentes obsessed with... Wait, can I ask one question to all of you, please? Why are we talking about the Jews? I thought... So I'm being told by Mr. Black and Mr. Shields that Nick Fuentes appeals to... Wait, please let me speak, and I won't interrupt you. I'm being told that Nick Fuentes appeals to a crass generation with an incredible sense of humor about rape and about blacks being criminals and Jews being cookies who are baked, but he doesn't mean it. But he appeals to them because of affordability and because they're being left out, and that was the MAGA movement. How did this come back to whether the Jews, 6 million Jews were killed? How did this come back to the Jews control the banks?
Piers Morgan brought it up.
Come back
I can answer that question. I can answer that question.
Wait. No, don't interrupt me, please. Please don't interrupt me.
Then don't ask questions.
Nick Fuentes doesn't appeal to any social or economic policies. He appeals to pure, unadulterated anti-Semitism.
That's not
which
true.
Is why,
not at
we've
all.
been speaking now for 40 minutes. 39 minutes have been about the Jews. I have every right to bring up the appearance of Nick Fuentes when his whole thing is about appearance. White supremacy. Why are white people superior to black people? Let me go on. How does Israel come into this conversation? Nick Fuentes didn't criticize Israel. He criticized the American Jewish Congress. He thinks Jews have no place here. But let me ask you a question. When I say that his movement will turn against him, it will not bring the Jewish community who will bring Nick Fuentes down. He's going to self-implode. He's going to step on a metaphorical grenade because, as he said, he's Irish, he's Mexican, he's gay. His people hate anyone who are not part of the Aryan white supremacy, and they're going to turn on him like they did on Ernst Röhm, 1934, Night of the Long Knives.
All right, let me bring it. All right, so don't all talk at
once.
once. Thank you. Don't all start shouting.
It's about
Don't
Jew
all start
hatred,
shouting.
Jew hatred.
Okay, Richie Black, your response. Mando deodorant is a
Your own mouth. First and foremost, Rabbi Shmuley, you have put your foot so far in your own mouth that you're choking on it. The rest of Con Inc. and neocons are drowning as well, and this is why they're panicking, by the way. You know, I like being on this panel.
Called
because
out. He's the first one that's really saying
young,
it.
By the way, you make me feel young in
Might
a
give him a
panel full
point.
of fossils. I want to address, by the way, what Dave said earlier about Nick. This is really important as somebody who's Catholic. I have a real big problem with what you just said about him
Who's
pulling
Dave?
Catholic young men. Is it Dave or the guy in the middle? I already lost his name. Sorry.
Ben.
What's the guy in
Ben.
the middle?
Ben Ferguson.
Sorry, my apologies, Ben.
It would be Ben.
It would be Ben. Okay, sorry. So Ben, you mentioned that Nick is pulling Catholic young men down the wrong road. You don't know these people.
I didn't say
these
that.
Are my,
I didn't say
these
that.
are my friends. No, you're
I didn't-
suggesting
hold
that
on,
the
I didn't say
Jerusalem
that.
Post should, in fact, don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you.
I didn't say that. I just what
It
you
was the
said. I said I
Jerusalem
didn't say
Post
that.
that said that.
Let me make a comment about that.
It was the
It's
Jerusalem
obviously-
Post that said it, not Ben.
Thank you. I didn't
But
say
he-
that.
sorry,
I was
sorry,
correcting
fine,
you.
But he
So
was
don't put
defending
words in my
it.
mouth.
He was.
Okay.
Fine, I won't put words in your mouth, but you were defending the position of the Jerusalem Post to do this, right? I know a lot of these young men who have started lost, addicted to pornography, addicted to violence, addicted to all these things that are troubling them. They find Nick Fuentes, they become Catholic. They become confirmed Catholics. They change their lives. They become better people. Some of these people...
Many people that
you would
watch him
not
also become white
recognize- you would-
supremacists.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I'll tell you right now because
Yes, they
Yeah,
do.
I-
Oh my gosh. I think that would
finish
insult
talking.
Nick Fuentes.
Let me finish talking. You don't even know what a white supremacist is. I guarantee you. And you know what?
I'm looking at one right
Keeps doing
now.
this. No.
See,
looking
that's
at
the
one right now.
problem.
I know.
When you instantly go to anyone who is a fan of Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist, then how can you expect it? You're not even having a real debate.
What a
You know
white
what?
supremacist
I almost
looks
don't want to
like.
correct you. I almost don't want to correct you because you know what? If I correct you and you eventually figure it out, if you eventually figure out what you're doing wrong, then we will lose in terms of those who are coming up and taking control of the conservative movement because you guys are relics
not
or fossils.
ever
You're-
gonna win this
you're
battle.
played out.
As long
You're
as I'm
played
right,
out.
you are a white supremacist. You said I don't know what one looks like.
No,
You're
you don't
literally
even-
a
you don't-
definition
you
of a
can't-
white
You can't
supremacist.
even define white supremacists. And you pick Jake Shields and
I
Rita Brown.
absolutely
We have
can. Do you
plenty
want me
of
to say it
Jewish
again?
friends. We have plenty of black friends.
white
We
supremacists-
actually
I got a
work
black
with
friend.
people.
I got one black friend. I got a
White
Jewish
supremacist.
friend.
No.
Yeah.
Well, certainly you're not a threat if you're obviously willing to work with Jewish American voices. Obviously, you're not a threat if you're willing
Okay,
to
hey, real
host
quick.
black people on your show. You have no idea what a white supremacist is. I'll tell you right now. As
What
somebody
is
who's
your
been involved
definition
in
of white
this movement,
supremacist? Someone that
as somebody
wants
who's
to
been
kill black
involved in this-
people
let
and
me
Jews and
finish.
anyone that doesn't
Let
look
me
like them.
finish.
Let me
It's what
What is your
finish.
someone who's
definition of a
been
white
involved.
supremacist?
I will give you the definition if you just shut up. So
Please,
moving
tell me.
forward, I'll give you the definition, but let me finish my thought and I will move to that definition, okay?
You
This is the
haven't
problem.
figured out on
This
the
is the
fly?
problem. No, I don't have to figure
don't
it out on
even
the
know
fly.
how to
I know you're not
define
a
it.
white
Oh my
supremacist.
God.
Nick is obviously not a white supremacist. Give it a rest. First of all, a white
He's a
supremacist
What is
is
your
what?
definition
Someone who argues
of a
the
white
position
supremacist?
that white people are supreme. This is not the conversation we're having, okay? And also, before I
Because
forget
you're
to say
hanging
it,
out with
because
white
you're gonna put me into
supremacists.
distraction. No. First and foremost, Nick
But you're white
Fuentes is a
supremacist group chat.
and
You're
let me
probably
finish.
not trying to
figure
figure that out.
Shouting.
Where
I
white
let you
people
finish.
run
Let me
everything.
finish. I let you finish. Let me finish.
But
What
you
is the
cannot
definition of
dominate
white
the entire
supremacist?
show. Make your
Let me
point. What's a
finish.
white supremacist? Say
Let
it
me
already.
finish.
Get it out. What is a white supremacist? Stop
This
teasing
is
us.
where we've
They're
arrived.
not a host
This is where
teasing
we've
a
arrived, by the
commercial.
way.
What is a white
This is where we've
supremacist,
arrived.
Mr. Black?
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep
Well,
going.
let me
You
intervene.
can't
Let me
hold
let
on.
me intervene. Let me intervene.
Your skin
Let
makes
me
you
intervene,
superior.
please.
There it is. That's simple.
Let me intervene. Let
He
me
won't
ask
answer
Richie
the
Black.
question.
Let
He
me
wants to
ask
dominate
Richie
the
Black.
show.
Let
Give me
me
a chance
ask
to say
Richie
a
Black.
soliloquy and a mono-
Shut
and a
up,
mono-
please. Richie Black, what is a white supremacist?
A white supremacist is somebody who believes white people are supreme over all races. Nick obviously doesn't feel that way. I don't feel that way. Jake doesn't feel that way. We are American nationalists, and this threatens you. We're young,
Can I add
and this
something real quick?
threatens you. We're replacing neocons, and this is threatening
Oh my
you.
gosh.
Connie is
I
drowning
actually
in
thought
this
you were smarter than this.
America first is on the rise. America must rise to the occasion. And as far as somebody who said he was an opportunist, Nick just started the America First Foundation.
That would be me, by the way.
Everyone go donate, by the way.
All right,
donate.
Jake Shields, you wanted to jump in.
I'm not donating.
Yeah, I just want to add. if you look at me and Nick Fuentes on Twitter, we are constantly being attacked by the real white supremacists because we're not white supremacists. These people go probably harder after us.
Yeah, that's true, but there are also white supremacists that are fans of Jake Shields and Nick Fuentes just because they say racist stuff sometimes.
Than they do you guys because they're mad that we're not taking their stance. They're like, oh, you guys are race traitors, this and that, because we stick up for all races that want to have our ideology. We're just sick of Israel. This country gives them billions of dollars. What do? They bomb us, killing 34 Americans. I'm wearing Philip Turney. Philip Turney, a real patriot, gave me this shirt.
Finally, God.
Yes, the truth. The Levant affair.
It's about Jews, Jews.
Anti-Semitism, right there.
Yeah, about Israel.
Being critical of like a country, like a country's government, is not anti-Semitic.
Israel
all four of you are currently talking.
American traitors that support Israel over America. It's America first, America only. We are sick and tired of working for Israel. We are done serving your country. You should move to Israel.
We got it. I got it. By the way, Piers, may I speak, please, without their interruption?
Oh, yeah, not 20 Americans to be killed. My friend Phil Turney, 34 Americans were killed, and I'm anti-Semitic. Bring that up.
Please control yourself now. Mr. Shields,
you guys are the ones killing Americans.
Pierce, may I speak?
Yeah.
Mr. Shields.
No, go ahead.
May I point out, Mr. Shields, that we're in the 250th birthday of the United States. If France had not come with their fleet to Yorktown, you would be still speaking with a British accent. Democracies support one another, and Israel's the only democracy. But Israel is a tiny, tiny fragment of what American aid goes to. Ukraine has received $100 billion in American aid.
Yeah, we need to stop that too.
That doesn't bother you. Wait. And you know why?
No, anyone who has a problem with us funding Israel also has a problem with us funding Ukraine. It's the same.
I'm against
You know why it doesn't bother you? No, but you didn't say I'm tired of the Ukrainians controlling America. You said Israel. Hold on. You are interrupting me. You said the Jews.
Yeah, but the rabbi interrupted everyone else.
Then you said that you're sick of my country. I was born in frickin' Los Angeles, California, you damn racist, so
but you
stop
represent
it.
Israel,
Jews can be as American as you. Now, number two. Now, excuse me, don't interrupt me. I love Israel with all my heart. Number two, just like Irish Americans still love Ireland. Number two. When you say that someone, Mr. Black, is not a white supremacist because they think that it's about America first, that's pure garbage. You are the Klan. You are Nathan Bedford Forrest. Great. You are the Confederacy.
Jake Shields is not the Klan.
Confederacy was all about believing, excuse me, that that's the color of someone's skin made them automatically superior.
They only have
Not
one
their
playbook.
character,
It's just
not
go to
their
the
morality,
extreme.
Not their values, not their sacrifice.
We don't
Wait,
believe
and I'll tell you more. And I will tell you more. And Mr. Black and Mr. Shields, you're saying that America is controlled by Israel? Do you know how many 450,000 Americans died to liberate France? Wait, France, Belgium, Holland, the Netherlands, Norway. Why doesn't that bother you?
Our presidents don't go kiss the wall over there.
500,000 Americans liberated Europe.
Don't all start shouting again.
Europeans.
All right,
you guys, excuse me,
Can you all be quiet, please?
You just talk and talk.
I want to play another clip. I want to play another clip.
I
want to play another clip.
They won't let me speak. I'm a victim.
I'm going to speak. So, Ben, I want to play a clip. This is slightly changing the topic a little bit, but still on Fuentes. I want to play something he said about populism and the potential alliance, which we may have seen a bit of, by the way, with Mamdani and Trump in the Oval Office. Let's take a listen.
Right. Watch this shit.
Why don't we have populist Republicans and populist Democrats that just solve problems? Just solve problems for Americans. And by the way,
That's a
I
good
am
idea.
willing to compromise with the left. 100%.
Neocons
I'll
hate
work with
that.
anybody. I saw the track APAC people. It's some progressive woman and some progressive gay guy. I'd work with them on shutting down AIPAC in a second, in a heartbeat. Same goes for Anna Kaspari and Cenk Uygur. They were in favor of democratic populism. They want to deliver health care. They want to deliver education. I would work with them in a second. A Zohran Mamdani all day.
So yeah, that really scares the established parties. That really scares the establishment Democrats and also like the neocons, like the established Republican Party. like what Nick just said right there.
I did think that was interesting in the context of what we saw in the Oval Office with Mamdani and Trump. Is it was a very unlikely camaraderie that developed after their private meeting, which was then on public display. What do you
Was
read
it
into
unlikely,
that, Ben?
though?
And this theory of the horseshoe effect that popped.
I kind of don't think it was unlikely. Trump likes winners, and that's what Mamdani is. And also, Trump has had some socialist policies in the past. You could think of his like COVID relief checks and his proposed like tariff rebate checks. That's socialist.
Populism on both sides can kind of converge for the greater good of America.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Democrats that say that are full of it, and we saw that from what Mamdani said about the president after that meeting the next day when he attacked him yet again. I think that.
Yeah, so you're allowed to like say words.
That meeting that Donald Trump had was a smart one. The reason why is I think you meet with people that are politically the opposite of you. I don't care if it's Kim Jong-un or the guy Mamdani. I want to know my enemy. I want to know what they believe. I want to hear what they have to say. And I want to know how to beat them. I think studying people that are completely against you is an important thing in politics. I think it's actually one of the smartest things about Donald Trump.
Yeah, but if you watch that meeting, which we covered on the channel, by the way, with Trump and Mamdani, they weren't disagreeing on everything. They were actually there to talk about things that they agreed on, like build more houses in New York City and, you know, keep crime low.
Trump is he's willing to meet with basically anyone, no matter who actually says he shouldn't have that meeting. World leaders, whether it's Putin. I think that is a smart move by a world leader.
Yeah.
I also think that there's a real threat right now, as we've seen two declared socialists win in major cities in America as mayor, and we're seeing the Democratic Party implode. It is now run by socialists, Marxists, and communists. I've said this on your show, I think, a couple years ago. The
Yeah, that's how you win elections in 2025. You run Democratic Socialists.
Democratic Party is dead. It has been masquerading as socialist Democrats and communists as Democrats. Now they're just saying, screw it. This is just who we are. So I think that's an important meeting. But the idea that Democrats who just held America hostage and shut down our government just to score political points and literally vote against food stamps, the people they claim they want to feed, for example, and they wouldn't pay government workers, would somehow come together and work with Donald Trump, or as Fuentes described it, like that's a pipe dream based in total insanity. The Democratic Party is broken now. They're in their own civil war right now with AOC and the others. And so I can't imagine right now working with them because the party is trying to destroy. I mean, AOC literally is the leader, and Mamdani, and Chuck Schumer isn't extreme enough for the Democratic Party right now. I'm probably going to lose his leadership position.
But if they're so
and Nancy
extreme,
Pelosi's
but
called
Ben,
it
Ben,
quits.
if they're
Yeah,
so
that's
extreme,
good for the
why
party.
was Trump so cordial to him in public? Why did he say?
Because I think sometimes when you meet with somebody you're trying to figure out, you just don't walk in there like it's a fight and punch him in the face.
Well, also, if the president fights with the mayor of New York City, nobody wins.
Learn about them and figure them out and see what the real threat is and what they're about. I've debated a lot of liberals who I walk away from and I look at a buddy and I'm like, that person's insane. I mean, I'll do that today. I'll be like, man, I met with a lot of white supremacists today. I learned something about their hatred and their quote, America first. Like, I'm going to take something away from this hour and go, all right, there's a real threat here from people that are claiming that America first is white supremacy. Like, that's what they're masquerading it as.
When you tell us not to interrupt them, when you tell us it's white supremacy,
I think that Trump played Mamdani brilliantly.
Yeah, it's such a
Trump played Mamdani like a fiddle. Trump
It's
won.
not,
Trump
but like
won
that's what you
that
guys are.
interaction.
Keep doing that. Just keep doing it. Just
Trump
keep doing
won
it.
that interaction with Mamdani
making you look like the weasel you
clearly
are.
because when Trump,
Dude, one of you couldn't even get my name right, and you're like the weasel you are. You know nothing.
Yeah, because no one knows who that guy is.
Irrelevance is affecting my memory a little bit. You're a nobody.
all we hear from
Piers, I'm a nobody now. You're not going to be TV for a decade, but I'm a nobody now. Got it. That's good.
To be honest with you, you're all talking at the same time. I have no idea what any of you are saying.
May I say, Piers? May I say, Piers?
We're not. Like, why would you
Piers, may I
make such
say,
a ridiculous lie?
MAGA is Donald Trump, and Trump has rejected Tucker Carlson as a coup.
MAGA is mega.
Trump has rejected Fuentes and said he He called him a kook. Yes, he did on Twitter, on X. And he said that he met Fuentes, and he utterly repudiated him, and Kanye won't meet with any of these people. He kicked out Marjorie Taylor Greene with her laser
Marjorie
beams
Taylor
and
Greene's
Jews.
gone.
Trump is
Massey,
kicking. Trump,
the
excuse me, Mr. Black.
Yeah, there's a theme
excuse
there.
me, Mr. Black.
I didn't say
Trump
anything.
is
That's not
kicking
me.
out every anti-Semite.
He got his
and
name
every-
wrong.
Trump is
By the way.
kicking
He's
out
like
every
a
anti-Semite.
he's
Now,
on.
excuse me.
Excuse
Now,
me,
now,
excuse me.
Piers, to answer your question, I think Trump played Mamdani like a fiddle. I think it was an act of political genius.
No, that meeting with Trump and Mamdani, it wasn't about who's the winner there. It was, can they both work together for a win?
What he basically
They weren't
did
battling.
is understand that Mamdani appeals to only one set of people. I'm not talking to the Islamists who globalize.
No, that's not true.
Affordability, sustainability. Here in New York City, where I am right now, it really is an issue. And Trump's
Yeah.
whole base are working class people who have been forgotten. Remember in 2017, his first inaugural, the invisible man will be invisible no more. He understands Mamdani has tapped into something. And much better to
Yeah, it's
co-opt
America
that
first.
agenda and say that the Republican Party are going to deliver affordability and against inflation and making groceries affordable. Trump is a master tactician. It took a genius to pull off that because
It's not all
Mamdani-
4D chess.
Mamdani wanted him to be the enemy,
Okay.
and Mamdani failed.
All right.
And of course,
Actually,
Mamdani
all
the
right.
next day
All
was.
All right,
with
that's
you.
enough. Richie Black, your response.
All right, the truth is on our side. At the end of the day, I'm listening to these guys talk, and I'm thinking there's going to come a day, right, when we do assume power of the conservative movement, and they're going to have to look and say, wow, you know, all these thoughts we had, all these assumptions that we lobbied at them, all this criticism, we were actually wrong. They weren't white supremacists. They were really aiming to fix the problems that they were faced with. Moving forward, though, I don't know that having this debate is productive when, at the end of the day...
Black, what will you do? When you take control, what will you do? What are your policies? Go ahead.
Why is
I'll
he
let you
interrupting?
speak. You said when are you
It's
going
not
to take
about, it's
control?
not,
What are your
no,
policies?
don't.
Baking
We're
juice
not
is
shifting
cookies.
the
Just tell me.
conversation of
What are
policy.
your
I know what you're
policies?
trying to do. It's the
I would
same
cut
old
off
trope
all
over and
foreign
over.
What are your
And I would argue
policies,
the
Mr.
position.
Black? When you take control, what will you do with America? Go ahead.
I'm just making sure you're done.
Cut
Are
all
you done?
foreign aid.
Yeah, I was about to say cut off all foreign aid to Israel and influence from Israel.
exactly.
That would be step
Okay,
number one.
that's $3 billion. That's 0.00001% of the $20 trillion GDP.
Yeah, that's a
Go ahead.
good start.
one thing. Next,
all foreign
next.
aid.
Isn't it funny that the minute that we talk about ending a relationship with Israel, the minute we talk about ending the relationship with Israel,
Next.
the moment we talk about ending the relationship with Israel,
Policy.
let me finish.
We got that. You hate the Jews. Next policy.
You have no policy
Let
except
him
Israel, the
speak,
Jews,
Rabbi
Jews,
Shmuley.
Israel, the Jews.
We can't hear his policies if you
tried.
keep talking.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just saying it's quite funny that the minute we talk about ending relationships with Israel, the first thing Rabbi Shmuley does is talk about money.
Shut up, Rabbi.
Dude.
Keep speaking over him. So all I do is speak over him.
Yeah, I'm not doing this, Rabbi. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this shouting match. This is exhausting.
He doesn't have
It's not about having
policy.
It's not about having policy. I have plenty, actually.
We gotta give
Rabbi
Rabbi Shmuley another L.
We're going to put the white people in charge. We're going to get rid of the
Ban
Jews.
dual
We're going to
citizens from
defund
serving
Israel.
Oh, he should have.
He
should already have them.
They're really putting the clown mask on. Let them go.
Is all you do.
No,
We've
no,
both
no,
been very
no,
clear
sir.
about
No,
it.
sir.
I'm
You
attacked
have
by
no
white supremacists all the
policies
time.
at all.
White supremacists, blah, blah. I named a
It's the
few.
same old
Cut
trope.
foreign aid, ban APAC from
You're
far.
only,
There's a couple
there
right
is
there.
no foreign aid. Elon Musk ended USAID.
Stop
there
printing
is no
money.
foreign aid.
Stop
you don't
printing
even read
money,
the
which is-
newspapers.
which-
there is
yes,
no
there is.
foreign
There is
policy.
foreign
There
aid.
is no foreign aid.
There
Look,
is
look,
foreign aid.
APAC
You're
doesn't
a
have to
liar.
register.
You're
We just
APAC
gave
doesn't have to
Washington
register.
everywhere. We just gave
Egypt,
Washington
Don't neglect that
billion.
APAC does not have to
those
register,
the
by the way.
Jews?
Throwing that out there.
Okay.
Is APAC the Jews? Is that your real
People
question?
like you
Was that your real
cause way more
question?
anti-Semitism than me, Rabbi Shmuley.
All right. I have no idea what any of
You
you
know
are talking
something?
about.
Blame me. It's like,
So-
I know. We Jews are responsible for anti-Semitism. My yarmulke, my existence
White
is why
supremacists,
you
white-
hate me.
yeah,
And that's
guys
true.
like you.
Listen. No. I get
don't
it.
hate
Listen,
Jews.
I asked you for your
Jews are so
I asked you
low,
for
bro.
your
I don't hate my
policies,
heart.
and the only thing you have is an obsession with me. And you know what it is? You guys are so jealous,
I named a few,
so
but you kept
envious.
cutting
the
me off,
Jews
so I
are
didn't
just
get any
the
more.
Jews. You guys are
I'm
obsessed
really
with us. You know
jealous
what?
of
Mr.
you.
Black, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm not that
jealous of you.
important.
Can I say one
All
thing?
right, I want to
This is
I want to end with a
ridiculous.
final question.
Nobody
I want to
is
end with a
jealous of
final
you.
question
You sell
for everybody.
sex toys
I
with
want a
your
one.
daughter.
I want a
That's
one-line
disgusting. I have a
answer from
daughter
all of
too.
you. All right, Jake. Who's going to be the next president of the United States?
Oh, jeez. Tough question.
Thomas Massey, hopefully.
Ben.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea, and I don't think anybody else does either right now. It's way too far.
Give me a name.
That's a good answer.
Who's on the short list?
No, who do you think at the moment would be your favorite to win?
My favorite would be Ted Cruz.
Okay.
Oh my
How about
God.
Shmuley?
He works for Ted Cruz.
Oh my God.
My good friend Robert Kennedy Jr. I think first of all, he's a great supporter of Israel for all those
RFK
who hate
Jr.
Israel. I think that I don't agree with everything on vaccines. I'm fully vaxxed, but I think that Bobby does get Generation Z, Generation X. I think he has that mystique. And finally, I think he's extremely authentic.
One word.
But I would also like to see Rubio
one
or Ted
sentence
Cruz,
or
but
whatever.
Bobby would be my first choice.
Okay, and Richie Black.
What is the question? The question is
Who will be the next president of the United States in 2028?
Not who I want, but who I think will be.
Who do you think will be? Yeah.
Yeah, J.D. Vance, and I'm not happy about it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I gave who I wanted, so.
Okay, well, who do you think it'll
I
be?
doubt it'll be Thomas Massey, so I don't. If I had to guess, I'd probably say J.D. Vance too, but it's hard
Okay,
to
well,
say.
out of interest, Richie Black, who do you want it to
I
be?
don't know. It might be Massey though. I think things are changing so much. People are
Well,
getting
we'll see.
so
I mean,
sick of
in
Israel.
a way, we've seen how split the party.
Seeing how they're our top
We've seen
spy
how split the
expert.
right
They
is in
stole our
America in this
military
debate.
secrets and tell them they stole our nuclear secrets.
Okay, Richie
They
Black.
just screw us over and
Richie
over.
Black, out of interest, who do you want to be?
Obviously, I would vote for Massey, but you know what? At the end of the day, no, I don't. Shut up.
What happened to
Shut
Nick
up.
Fuentes?
Shut up.
You're so annoying. You're such a
Nicky?
worm.
What happened to
Shut
Nicky?
up for a second.
What
Shut
happened to little Nicky?
Stop talking, okay?
Yeah, you know
Massey,
what? That's
what
a great
happened
bit of
to
advice
Nicky?
for
What happened to your
absolutely everybody on the panel.
We need a
Stop
mute button for
talking.
Shmuley.
Stop talking. Thank you all very
Stop
much.
talking.
Piers Morgan Uncensored is proudly independent.
All right, I gotta say, I wish they weren't all so hooting and hollering to screaming over each other. And I wish there was more of a debate, because it could have been some like really good content to watch. But I would say the majority of what we just watched was just them screaming over each other, and that sucks.
The only boss around here is me. If you enjoy our show, we ask for only one simple thing. Hit subscribe on YouTube and follow Piers Morgan Uncensored on Spotify.
All right, that is the end of it. Check us out tomorrow. We're gonna be doing, what is it? Our podcast. Sorry, we're gonna be doing our podcast episode, and maybe like a live stream later in the day. I don't know yet, but either way, have a good night.